Hey guys, I know it's been a while since my last video, but it's good to be back on track, and in order to kick things off after being away for so long, I'd like to introduce a new initiative concept I came up with. And I say that like it's a big deal, and I kind of think it is, for reasons I'd like to go over right now. Initiative and combat and turn taking have always been a part of tabletop RPGs, but they have also been taxing to many. And some of the problems you see are when you have a lot of players, and you don't want to, kick people out just so you can make combat go more quickly. You have people who are new to the game, and so naturally their turns are going to take a little longer, and you don't want to rush them to make them feel turned off. Now, you have somebody who tries a new character concept, maybe a spellcaster for the first time, and they need to, figure it out. There are reasons combat gets delayed, and it's tasking on everyone, not just for the players, but for the DM as well. There are some DMs that have noticed particular mannerisms rise, like in my generation, you notice people pull out their cell phones when they have to wait too long. And I've noticed many a post on the forums and pages I'm a part of where DMs will go so far as to penalize their players for pulling out their phones. If that works for your group, good and fine, but I'm not the type to want to develop a penalizing atmosphere in my group. If I'm penalizing you, you're kind of screwing up as a player and legitimately on your way out of my group. But if you're honestly just bored because combat's taking so long, I'm not going to penalize you for that. And so, in order to resolve this, I wanted to come up with something that works for everyone and at the same time is simple and easy. And what I've come up with may seem a bit radical to some, but if you actually try it out, you'll find out it's very efficient. And what I've come up with is, rather than taking the traditional initiative concept of based on your initiative is the turn you take and you wait your turn and you assume everything's happening relatively simultaneously, you actually resolve everyone's turns simultaneously and then use initiative as a means of establishing the priority of people's actions. And this actually not just shortens combat drastically and keeps everyone involved at the same time, but it resolves a couple of very interesting things that come up with over the course of gaming history. Like, for example, let's say the wizard is about to get squashed by a troll and the fighter wants to push him out of the way. Well, the fighter has a lower initiative, the troll has the highest, and the wizard's in the middle, about to get squished. You really can't do that. But if you have the same turns happening simultaneously, it seems more realistic to go, okay, the fighter realistically can't. He's not fast enough. It's not feeling cheated. And if you flip that and go, okay, the fighter doesn't have that high of initiative, but the rogue does, and the rogue goes before the troll, and he sees the troll about to move, you can't say, oh, you didn't know what the troll was about to do. Realistically, you did. Everything's happening simultaneously. You know he's about to go after the wizard. So the rogue can turn around and take his action to resolve pushing the wizard out of the way, and he may be able to do it fast enough that he can get them both out of the way. If not, he may take a hit for the wizard, or he may be like chaotic neutral and screw the wizard. But either way, it adds that dynamic that a turn-by-turn basis prohibits. It allows people to not just resolve their individual turn, but act cooperatively on a level that a turn-by-turn basis made a lot more difficult. So there's that. And also, if you want to add an extreme level of flexibility to this new simultaneous acting dynamic, I mean, maybe you want people to keep the same turn-by-turn basis for sake of ease. But if you as a DM are comfortable with it, you can then pull out a very old-fashioned concept that was tossed around during the ideas of first edition and have initiatives rolled every turn, every round. That way, everybody's acting at the same time, and everybody has a chance to switch up their potential to cooperate on a team-based level. Now, either way works just fine to cooperate on team-based level. If you relatively know the fighter's not as slow, not as fast as the wizard's not as fast as the rogue, and the troll just got lucky, that's something is not really metagaming. That's something that is established after watching the first round or so unfold. Basically, that's basic perception to combat-capable individuals. So, if you want to keep the original initiative concept where everybody keeps their initiative, fine. But if you want to add that flavoring up where everybody has a chance to rewrite the priority in which they affect combat, you can have them re-roll initiative every round. And since actions are being resolved simultaneously, it gives them so much more room to decide what they will do. Now, alternatively, if you really think that my idea of resolving initiative simultaneously is just too much for you, which I get, it may be a lot to take in, or it may not, or you may just not like it, then think of the idea of resolving initiative on a round-by-round basis rather than establishing it at the beginning of combat and letting it stick. That also may develop a sense of spontaneity that you may enjoy. But either way, those are two concepts that can keep initiative from being monotonous. Also, one literally presents an idea for people to be involved in the moment at the same time on a more cooperative scale, on a more interactive scale. The re-rolling initiative on a round-by-round basis makes sure that nobody feels like they're stuck for several more turns. Now, granted, you do run into the instance where somebody with a low initiative may, statistically, consistently go last, but realistically they would anyway. So you're really not at a loss. You're giving them more chances to get a higher number. So that's the argument I would make if you would say that re-rolling every round gives somebody of a particular initiative an advantage or disadvantage, because they have that advantage with a static initiative anyway. So these are a couple of ideas that could definitely improve not just combat. It would improve player and DM's perspective and handling of combat. I hope you guys find this some really useful information, because I utilize these concepts and they have made my game so much smoother. My players love it. My players aren't on their phones as much. They're not going out for a smoke break for those who do, and it's a much smoother experience for me and my group. So if you guys like this video, please subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Happy adventures, guys.